right here. This is the lock back,
Right.
which is part of the lock body, which is this section that's
Right.
attached to the
Which
safe
normally
door.
they say the brain, and this is
The brain, the lock back,
Yeah.
it's synonymous. I believe CENCON actually refers to this as the lock back. But this has the brains of everything. It's got the battery, it's got the serial code,
Right.
it's got all the audit information, everything. This is just dumb mechanics.
Right.
Correct.
If you ever needed to update, and the way it's been done in the past, if you ever needed to update a lock in the field, change it from like first line to second line, or bank mode to first line, et cetera, or taking, whatever, we're coming off of Garda and we're going to Loomis, that kind of stuff, and they need to replace the locks. Technically, you don't have to replace the entire lock. If you
Right,
replace
just
this
the brain.
section, this moves everything. As long as all this mechanism here, which is always the same. They haven't changed the design on this lock in 25 years because it's good. It works.
That's good.
So what you're talking about is they dial to the right, and what's just spinning and spinning and spinning like so,
That's good.
and which is supposed to be right there. So it's spinning and spinning. But what this thing does is it doesn't catch,
Right.
and that's because that could be a mechanical failure.
So does this become loose sometimes, and this needs to be tightened?
Sometimes, depending on how many times this lock's been serviced, if somebody hasn't tightened this little screw right here, this very easy for this to come off the shaft. You can even see it. You can see how this one's already loose.
Right.
So this, if I found this in the field, this could give you that exact scenario that you just described. Because once that screw gets to a point where it's too loose, and that shaft is going to try to turn, and it's not going to turn this gear the way it's supposed to, which is supposed to grab this little hook. There's a indentation on the back that's supposed to grab the hook. That's supposed to allow this lock bolt to retract.
Right.
So
if
this,
the door is closed, because if the door is closed, we're not able to remove
No,
the back of
right.
the lock. So in that case,
It's a
what's
drill
the
out.
other? There's a drill that has to be made, or
If the-
because there's no way to tighten it out from the outside.
Right.
correct, right. That's where the locksmith usually has to come in,
Okay.
and they usually have to access the lock from the rear to destroy it, and then they end up having to replace the whole thing.
So there's not too much troubleshooting, other than what I said, the push down and then turn, because that tends to work sometimes.
There's
So if they get it open, then they probably.
Then they can tighten it, yeah.
So it don't happen.
Yeah, but the problem is normally that happens when it's closed. That's all.
No, well, I'm just saying, if
If they
If
got
you're
it
able to get it open.
Right, if
Yeah.
they'll push
then
down with
that's
the
the
pill
extra
cap.
step you
Yeah.
can tell them to take to make sure, we try to prevent it.
another reason that would cause that problem is, you see this little wire right here? This wire connects to this solenoid.
Gotcha.
This solenoid, this little silver solenoid right here, that's fine. So that little solenoid right there has to get power from the lockback when the good open code is given, and it gets the correct digit to open it. It's supposed to send a little DC voltage to the solenoid. The solenoid actually retracts and allows that's why I
That to
can't,
move.
even though the mechanism's all taken apart, I can't move this slide bolt by my hand. And that's because this solenoid hasn't been engaged yet. This solenoid has to engage and retract in order for this bolt to be able to come back, which is another reason why it would spin, because if that doesn't retract, this won't come back, and it won't allow the slide bolt to come back from the locked position.
And the battery is on this side,
On the
not
lockback,
this.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just all dumb mechanics right now, what I have here. I have the membrane keypad, I've got the reader, which only is
Say all that again.
by...
Wait. Hold on.
Okay.
Rewind. This will be good for SSCT.
That's fine.
Okay, and go.
So this part of the lock body itself, which is attached to the safe door, is just all the mechanics of it. You've got the solenoid for to disengage, to allow the slide bolt to come back, the gear drive, the relocker pin right here. This is just a membrane keypad with an LED display, LCD display, liquid crystal display, and then the dial itself. And then this is just the reader. You know, when they put the IPI, the personal identifier, up against it, all this is just the reader. That information goes right through through these. There's a little pin right here. So this is how it communicates from the front of the lock to the back of the lock. It's right here in this little corner right here.
Right.
So when I put this all together, it all interlocks, and that's how it communicates.
Right.
So